What's going on, guys? So we're going to talk about the most common reason that I've noticed in my life as far as why people tend to be unhappy. And obviously there's a plethora of reasons, so I really don't need any know-it-alls in the comments to remind me that there's all these different reasons why someone could be unhappy. Obviously, I have common sense. I'm not a dimwit. However, I would like to through my observations discuss what I seem to notice as the number one reason people tend to be unhappy. And it really boils down to a lack of direction, because you're told a plethora of things throughout your life except what the hell you should actually be doing. And when I say what you should be doing, I literally mean what you should be doing, because what other people are doing is not necessarily best for you. But the only way to determine what's best for you is to identify what would be a worthwhile goal of you achieving in your tenure on this planet. And for me, I didn't even always know what I was doing. Of course not. I had a long period of time where I was just lost in the sauce, and I was literally just living. I was just waking up, living with no real purpose. And I can honestly say those were easily some of the most empty periods in my life, where I wasn't in depression, but I was in something close to that. I just felt like a shell of myself. Like I just felt like something was missing, but I couldn't quite pinpoint what exactly was missing. So I've come to realize now, through just my growth as a person in general, that what I was missing was true purpose. And this tends to be a big reason you guys have depression, is you're lacking a strong enough purpose that when the hardships in life come, you don't have a strong enough purpose to make you want to, withstand some of the negative stimuli that's coming your way. So essentially, you have to identify, like I said, what is a worthwhile goal of you achieving in your life? Because if you think about it, right, life is really just a firework. Everyone gets one shot to set off a firework and make as much noise as they want, a big explosion, and then it dies out. So you have to look at it from that perspective, not in a pessimistic light, but really appreciate the time you're here so that you can utilize it. So when it came to me, right, like as I got deeper into thought and I started to confront I used to ask myself real questions like, yo, what have you accomplished thus far? Like, you've been alive on this planet for how many years, and what do you have to show for it? I came across, what my long-term vision was. And my long-term vision, I've came to the conclusion, is I not only want to be the first millionaire in my family, but I want to show other people around me it's possible to financially free yourself permanently, while at the same time teaching people how to instill confidence within themselves and instill belief within themselves. And therefore, I'm going to be able to completely alleviate future generations of my family from some of the harder aspects of life. So that's my long-term vision. Oh, and I also want to do a great deed for the Black community, whether that's, establishing, real foundations in Africa, not these fake charities these billionaires set up and call themselves philanthropists, but don't actually give money to these communities. I mean, a real foundation that actually matters and it actually does something. You feel me? So that's what I want to do in the long term. Now, in the short term, I realized that to accomplish my goals, I'm going to need, I'm going to need to not only improve myself, but I'm going to need to have enough resources to carry out my vision. So the building blocks of that vision start with, okay, what can I do now to establish an income? So I was in college thinking about this, and I was getting pretty decent grades, but I didn't want to go into a field, that my major, I didn't want to work in a field that I was studying because it was just boring to me. You could be good at something, but if you don't thoroughly enjoy it, what's the point? I train people all the time. They make $500,000 a year. These people are the most miserable people, you'll ever set your eyes on, because they don't love what they do. So I wanted to do something that made me money, but I also love what I did. And it just so happens around that time, I helped my mom lose 50 pounds. So I was also, that kind of gave me a spark of inspiration when it came to choosing my career path, and that led me to training ultimately. So with training, not only was I able to establish income, but it didn't feel like work, and it still doesn't to this day feel like work. I'm literally just in a gym training people. It's easy. So in the short term, my goals were getting my certification, getting the job, of course, and in the meantime, doing things in school to sustain myself so that I could graduate while I was doing all the things around it. And I had to establish what my long-term goal was first to understand what I should be doing in the short term. The issue is that society doesn't teach you how to think from a long-term lens. So when it comes to you establishing happiness, you have to understand it's not an immediate thing. You have to let go of the fact that you've been taught that you can get instant gratification at the touch of a button, or after you take this pill, or after you eat this food. Throw all that out. You have to enjoy the journey, because the only way you're going to be able to sustain hardships if you know where you're going ultimately. So you have to come up with a game plan that suits you, and you can't let anyone else pick it for you. You have to pick it yourself. Once you pick it yourself, you have to execute it under any means, because the truth is we are meant to work. No one is meant to just, cower in their bed all day and not do anything. It's not how we're meant to live. That's going to put you in an even more depressed state. So you have no choice but to establish what it is that you're going to accomplish in your lifetime. In your lifetime. And no one else can pick that for you. You have to come across that answer yourself. So you have to take time and really ask yourself the harder questions, like, damn, I'm playing all this 2K, I have 20 pairs of sneakers in my room, but like, what am I really doing here? And that's not an easy thing for people to ask. You feel me? So when you learn to ask yourself the harder questions, you're going to be able to confront some of the darkest things within your own self that in actuality are really oppressing you. It's oppressing your inner being, your spirit, because you're neglecting to address problems that are there. Like, I knew, my junior year of college, I was on some bum shit, some scrub shit, and I knew I was much better than that. I knew that I could really make some of my life, but I was just choosing not to because it felt like a lot of work. That's the truth. Most people who are depressed, they just simply don't want to, and I'm not saying this is the case for everyone, but people who are depressed often fall into a mindset of not wanting to, or not even thinking it's possible to escape their situation, and that mindset alone continually oppresses them. But the only way, like I said, to escape that is to establish the vision you see for your life. But you have to believe it. You can't say a vision and low key you don't think it's possible, because now your brain isn't going to feed you ideas to accomplish what it is you set out for. So I hope this video was insightful for some of you guys who might be going through unhappiness or depression, anything along those lines. It's your boy Dipsy. If you guys have a long-term vision you're willing to share, just comment down below. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. I'm gonna catch y'all later, man. Peace out.